The Tory Brexit MPs in Parliament are now officially ready to rebel against Rishi Sunak's new so-called Brexit deal. Now, or as we say, the Windsor Framework. Yes, they are very, very smart. Ursula von der Leyen and Rishi Sunak, they spent days discussing this issue. And of course, we already reported the details of this new deal to sort out the Northern Ireland Protocol. And we did say, objectively, without just sitting here and moan about everything, that on paper, when it comes to certain aspects of trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, it's made some things easier, right? But it comes at a cost, because firstly, they created this twin lane. So one green, one red. The green one is basically, if you're on a approved list, a verified list as a supplier or as a business, then you can just send your goods and products to Northern Ireland from England and it won't be checked. But who decides who is on the approved list? And there's a red list, red route, which is essentially things that could end up in the Republic of Ireland or in the European Union. Then they're going to go through more checks. In order to get rid of the invisible border on the Irish Sea between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, they decided to do this. Now, the problem with this is that it's not just about the complications of it. The European Court of Justice remains in Northern Ireland. That's why it's kind of created a bit of a problem for the Brexit MPs of the Tory party. So those who are pro-Brexit, the ERG, the European Research Group, that also created a bit of a headache for Theresa May back in the day during her negotiations. They are now prepared to rebel on Wednesday. Yes, the vote is in 3 days' time, 22nd of March, which we'll be reporting live on this channel for you guys to obviously keep you guys posted on all the analysis of what's going on with that day. But the wider problem for the Conservative Party and the Rishi Sunak is this. Yes, these guys, the ERG, who are now very proactive and vocal. Boris Johnson himself has already said he's not going to be able to vote for this bill. Not that Boris himself was so perfect, because he was the one who made the arrangement for the original Northern Ireland Protocol, so no one's defending him. But which is quite funny, because now he's come out and say, yeah, this agreement is not going to work out. But was the previous agreement working, Boris? Unless you guys come up with a better idea, then you can't really just keep moaning. But you have to still rebel. You have to stop this nonsense. So asked if they could rebel, the ERG spokesman has said yes. So that's kind of clear what's going to happen. But of course, the details of their own investigation continue. So we've got some updates from the chairman of the ERG, Mark Francois, who is one of the Spartans, who's come out to actually say, this was a couple of days ago when he said, we're still awaiting the outcome of the Star Chamber's detailed legal audit of the framework, which is basically Bill Cash's thing, so Bill Cash, which of course includes the Stormont break. We now hope to see this completed before next Wednesday, and members of the group will no doubt pay close attention to the Star Chamber's conclusion prior to any votes. Now, Stormont break and all these detailed stuff that came out about this new deal is essentially, on paper, they said, we are going to give more power to the executive in Northern Ireland and to the British government, British establishment in general, to be able to challenge policies or ideas that come from Brussels. So they could veto, for example. But no, it doesn't actually give that much power, considering that they say no new EU law should just randomly come in place. But at the same time, the agreement says we will keep this new framework in place as long as the UK standards always match EU standards. So basically, we still have to follow any new updated version of EU regulations in Northern Ireland. So we're still inside the European Union if you live in Northern Ireland. Now, because of this, DUP have come out to say, yes, we are now against this deal. We're skeptical about what's going to happen. But they've been quite open-minded. They've said, we are more than happy to renegotiate. We're more than happy to reopen the discussions. They're not just going to be creating an obstruction or anything like that, even though we had people like Joe Biden somehow interfering, as usual, because, of course, every time there's a St. Patrick's Day, Joe Biden becomes Irish. He's like, oh, I've always been Irish. I love Ireland. Yeah, yeah. Where's my green tie? Let me just wear my green suit. But you've had Joe Biden as president interfering in our affairs, which is not really, but it doesn't go with our convention of our special relationship. But we also had Hillary Clinton getting involved with that as well. So brilliant. But now all this pressure that's on the executive and of course the establishment is going to be creating a bit of a headache for Rishi Sunak. I'm pretty sure they should have covered all these things before they announced the deal, but it's not really going to be a win-win situation. So on a logical level, unless you're going to go radical, completely get rid of any agreement and basically risk a hard border, or if you're going to rejoin the European Union, then you're going to have to come up with something that is not going to make everybody happy. That's the problem with this current situation. Not everybody is going to be happy with any sort of agreement. So you're just going to have to find the worst case, the best case scenario of all the worst outcomes. Unless you're going to go radical. Unless you're going to go with what we used to call no deal Brexit. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.